Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Shia Muslims worldwide celebrate the blessed birth anniversary of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. Local authorities say Israeli strikes on Gaza destroy 1,000 mosques. An estimated of 4.9 million Yemenis with disabilities are facing extreme difficulty. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi remarks on need for precision in the number of dhikr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London, only on Imam Hussein TV 3. The holy shrines in Iraq, Syria and Iran, in addition to mosques, Husainiyat and Islamic centers around the world, celebrate the honorable birth anniversary of the 9th infallible Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. The Imam's honorable birth is on the 10th of the month of Rajab of the year 195 after Hijrah. On this day, followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam hold joyful celebrations and ceremonies to offer their congratulations to the master of the time, Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuh Sharif, and to the Islamic world. The lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have organized various celebratory activities to honor this joyful occasion and to re-pledge their commitment to follow the path and the teachings of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip have destroyed 1,000 mosques since the October the 7th, according to our local authorities. There are an estimated 1,200 mosques in the Gaza Strip. According to the statement, a church, several administrative buildings, Quranic schools and bank headquarters were destroyed in the Israeli onslaught. Israel has pounded the Gaza Strip since a cross-border attack by Hamas on October 7th, which Tel Aviv says killed 1,200 people. At least 25,105 Palestinians have been killed since, mostly women, children, and nearly 62,681 injured, according to Palestinian health authorities. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Human Affairs in Yemen has reported that 4.9 million persons with disabilities are facing extremely difficult circumstances due to ongoing crisis, according to a recent report by the statement. Yemen's prolonged crisis has left countless individuals displaced, injured and traumatized. Among the affected populations are persons with disabilities, including those with physical and mental health disabilities, who face a unique set of challenges. The UN report also confirmed that access to fundamental services like healthcare and education is inadequate, posing severe challenges to the well-being of those people displaced, in particular face additional vulnerabilities in camps, such as insecurity, violence and lack of safe, accessible facilities. This situation also affects their ability to partake in humanitarian and recovery efforts, increasing their risk of abuse and neglect, the report also added. Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Shias around the world celebrate the birth of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. Local authorities say Israeli strikes on Gaza destroy at least 1,000 mosques. An estimated of 4.9 million Yemenis with disabilities are facing extreme difficulty. Also tonight, Afghan nationals worldwide mount protests against genocide of Hazaras. The daily scholarly meetings of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi was held on the Sunday, the 9th of Rajab. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi discussed the reason for the prescribed number of some dhikr, including what is mentioned about the tasbihat of Fatimah al-Zahra alayhi salam. Let's watch the statements together.
نمیدونیم ما چقدره. قاب قوسین که ما میدونیم یعنی 2 کمون پیش هم بذارن، اما در اون عالم چیه نمیدونیم. خدا که جای معین نیست، خدا همه جا هست. یعنی مثل که مسجد میگن خونه خدا، حالا خونه خدا یعنی خدا ساکنه در مسجده، اینو بهش میگن نسبت تشرفی، یعنی کعبه خونه خداست. این شرافتش اینه که نسبت به خدا داره، نه اینکه راست خدا اونجاست. قاب قوسین آدم همین جوره، نسبت به اون محلی که مورد عنایت خاص خدای عز و جل، پیغمبر خدا صلی الله علیه و آله تا نزدیک اونجا قدر 2 کمون رفتن. نه اینکه خدا اونجاست، خدا مکان نداره.
And now we'll continue with some short news. More than 13,000 people have been killed and 26,000 others injured in the ongoing conflict in Sudan since last year, the United Nations Humanitarian Office said on Sunday. About 7.6 million people have been displaced inside and outside Sudan since fighting broke out, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said in a statement. According to the UN Office, more than 9,700 suspected cholera cases, including 269 associated deaths, were reported in Sudan as of January the 16th. Several ceasefire agreements brokered by Saudi and US mediators have failed to end the ongoing violence in Sudan. 7 terrorists were killed on Monday during an intelligence-based operation in the Sambaza sector of Baluchistan Zob district near the Pak-Afghan border, local media has reported. According to the Inter-Services Public Relations, the ISPR, army troops effectively surrounded and engaged fleeing terrorists during an exchange of fire. As a result, 7 militants were killed. It added that the ISPR said that the militants remained actively involved in terrorist activities against security forces as well as killing of innocent civilians. It added that arms, ammunition and explosives were also recovered from the terrorists. A massive landslide has buried 47 people in China's southwestern Yunnan province, according to local authorities. Rescue teams have been dispatched to the area to search for survivors, but the chances of finding anyone alive are very slim. The landslide buried 27 homes and damaged several others, leaving hundreds of people homeless. The cause of the landslide is still unknown, but heavy rain and geological factors are believed to have played a role in the area. Is prone to landslides and other natural disasters, and local authorities have been warning residents to take precautions. Human Rights Watch has urged Indonesian authorities to immediately stop the boat pushbacks of Rohingya refugees and investigate all attacks on refugees and put an end to them. The organisation said that the authorities should allow them to disembark at the nearest safe port, provide them with protection and humanitarian assistance, and investigate online incitement to violence against them. On December the 27th of 2023, more than 100 students breached police lines and stormed a car park in the city of Banda Aceh, where more than 137 Rohingya refugees, mostly women and children, were being sheltered. The students verbally and physically attacked the refugees, then forced them onto trucks that transported them to the government immigration office, where the students demanded the refugees to be deported. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees reported that since November the 11th, boats carrying Rohingya refugees have arrived in Indonesia, and refugees have been transported to sites mostly in Aceh, with those boats carrying around 1,700 refugees, 70% of whom are women and children. Coinciding with the blessed month of Rajab, the Holy Karbala-based Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra Foundation has announced a new financial grant for the victims of the earthquake in Syria, reaffirming its commitment to supporting those affected. In a statement received by Shia Waves agency, the foundation stated that there is a great need to help the large numbers of those affected by the earthquake, including orphans and their families. The campaign has brought joy and happiness to the beneficiaries, who expressed their gratitude for the foundation's support during their difficult living conditions. Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra Foundation is one of the leading charitable organizations that operate under the guidance of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein Shirazi. Yesterday, Afghan citizens mounted protests in more than 30 cities and 3 continents of the world and demanded recognition of the genocide of the Hazara and gender apartheid in Afghanistan by the United Nations and the international community. More details in the following report.
Protests were held in different cities of North America, Europe and Asia, as several news agencies have reported. These protests were organized by a people's headquarters which included Afghan immigrants and refugees around the world and were completely spontaneous, the organizers said. According to Siddiqa Mushtaq, one of the organizers of these protests, the objective of the demonstrations was to remind the world of Afghanistan's problems been forgotten. According to Mushtaq, the arrest of young Hazara Shiite girls in Kabul by the Taliban under the pretext of not complying with the dress code required by the Taliban was one of the other issues that caused these protests to be held and drew global attention to this issue. Protesters around the world in their gatherings carried the slogans "Stop the Hazara Genocide" and "Women are not removable," and protested the continuation of terrorist attacks against Hazaras in Afghanistan and the Taliban's policies against women. In the wake of global call for protest against the genocide of Hazaras and gender apartheid in Afghanistan, demonstrators claim the Hazaras have been systematically eradicated from key governmental and military positions since the Taliban assumed complete control. The resolution contends that the historical policy of forced migration and land seizure initially implemented by Abdul Rahman Khan in 1887, has been reinstated under the Taliban regime. Protesters assert that the Taliban is seizing the assets of Hazara merchants and elites. According to the demonstrators, Hazaras find themselves once again the sole target of waves of targeted and systematic killings, continuing a long history of genocidal actions. This is Ali Al-Hadi reporting for Shia Waves.
The International Organization for Migration, the IOM, has launched a global appeal for $7.9 billion to help 140 million people in need of humanitarian assistance. The appeal comes as the world faces multiple crises, including conflict, displacement, and the COVID-19 pandemic. The IOM's Director General, Antonio Veterinio, stated that the organization's appeal is aimed at providing urgent assistance to those in need, including refugees, migrants, and internally displaced persons. He emphasized that the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the already dire situation faced by millions of people around the world. The campaign will focus on providing essential services such as shelter, food, water, and healthcare to those in need. It will also prioritize support for vulnerable groups such as women, children, and people with disabilities. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Shia of the Ahlul Bayt worldwide celebrate the blessed birth anniversary of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad alayhi salam. Local authorities say that Israeli strikes on Gaza has destroyed more than 1,000 mosques. An estimated of 4.9 million Yemenis are facing disabilities with extreme difficulty. Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadr al-Hussein al-Shirazi remarks on the need of precision in the number of dhikr. Afghan nationals worldwide mount protest against the genocide of Hazaras. The IOM launches global appeal for $7.9 billion in support of 140 in dire need of humanitarian assistance. You can view the latest news on our website, or you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contacts are the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get